I'm Chris, and today we're going to make our chainsaw cut straight. Let's do this real quick. If you find that your chainsaw just isn't cutting the way it should be, there's a few things you can look at to get it cutting better. One, is the chain itself dull? Do you need to sharpen it? Two, is the bar bent? Bent so bad that when you try to cut wood with it, it just binds in the wood and prevents you from cutting the wood. If it's bent that bad, you might have to take it to an authorized service dealer to have them straighten it out or to purchase a new bar. And three, which we're going to look at today, which was the solution to my problem, is the guide rails on the bar itself were worn unevenly. Unfortunately, it was due to me not flipping the bar as often as I should. Not all bars can be flipped, but most of them nowadays you can flip those bars to help with even wear on the bar and prolong the life of your bar. Anytime you work on your chainsaw, it's a good idea to wear a pair of gloves just to prevent any cuts or nicks you may receive by dealing with the sharp blade. We're going to start by loosening up the chain brake nuts, and then we're going to take the tension off the chain by adjusting the screw. Go ahead and remove the chain brake nuts and the cover itself and place it out of the way. Now it's time to remove the chain and the bar from the saw itself. To do that, push the bar backwards, and then lift the chain off the nose of the bar, and then lift it off the rear drive sprocket, and either hang the chain up or lay it flat on your workbench. Or if you've been cutting through really pitchy, sappy wood, go ahead and put that chain in a can of diesel fuel, just to dissolve all the sap off of it. After you've removed your bar, you want to go ahead and clean out the inside of the guide rails where the drive teeth travel. You want to make sure you get all the oil and sawdust out of there. I like to work from the tip of the bar to the back of the bar, just so I'm not pushing all that stuff into the sprocket on the front. I want to make sure that my bar is nice and straight. I don't want there to be any bends in the bar or any waviness at all. What we really want to focus on are the guide rails of the bar. We want to make sure those are parallel to each other and perpendicular to the bar itself, just so that the chain itself rides nice and even on there to give us a nice straight cut. One way to do this and check this is just by putting your square on the side of the bar and taking a look, usually up to a light source, to see if one side is higher or lower than the other side. Now in my case, on both sides of my bar, I had a high side. You can simply put your bar in a vise and just file down the high side so that it meets up with the low side. And then you can double check with the square to make sure that everything is nice and even and square to the side of the bar. If you have the means to do so, you can also perform this procedure with a belt sander or a bench grinder. Just be careful you don't take off too much material. You can also take it to an authorized service dealer to have them fix your bar, or purchase a whole new bar. You want to make sure you run your file along the side of the bar, just to take off any burr that may have formed when you're removing the material on the top. I also like to wipe it down with a rag and then blow it out with the air compressor, just so I don't have little bits of metal getting into that front sprocket. If you have the type of bar that you can flip over, don't forget to do this after you've used your chainsaw extensively. This is going to help extend the life of your bar and help reduce the uneven wear that I've encountered here. It's a good idea to do a final check of the oil holes on your bar and the automatic oiler itself on the chainsaw, just to make sure there's no debris in there. Once you've reinstalled your bar, make sure the teeth are going in the proper direction, and then you can go ahead and reinstall your chain. You want to pay close attention to the chain tension adjusting pin. You want to make sure that that pin goes inside the bar correctly. If not, you could further damage your saw. Once you have the chain brake nuts on hand tight, you can go ahead and adjust your chain to the proper tension for your chainsaw. You don't want the chain tension to be too tight or too loose. Once you have the chain tension just right, while holding up the saw a little bit, you can go ahead and tighten down the chain brake nuts. Don't forget to recheck the chain tension before you use your saw. After servicing my chainsaw bar and sharpening the chainsaw chain itself, I've never replaced the bar on this chainsaw, and I've never replaced the chain on this chainsaw yet, and I've had this chainsaw for over 13 years. This chainsaw has served me well in cutting down some really large trees, cutting up firewood every year, and dealing with extensive winter storm damage. Proper preventative maintenance and avoiding neglect and abuse of your chainsaw is going to help ensure that you keep it operating in a safe and efficient working order. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Definitely check out some of my other videos, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you guys found any of these tips helpful, or if you know of any better tips, please leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much. Anytime you're working with equipment like this, it's sharp, it's dangerous, and anytime you're actually using a chainsaw, please use caution. It's dangerous. Use the appropriate safety equipment and the appropriate safety tips. Work safe.